Good evening, everyone. Captain, can you hear me? Good evening. Please, can you prompt your teammates to join the call? We'll start 10 minutes after 6 on the dot. Okay, good evening, everyone. So we start now. Good evening. How was your day? Can you hear me?
Good evening, ma. I
Good
can hear
evening.
you from here.
Very well, thank you. Good evening. How's the day been?
We thank God, it's been great.
Okay.
Good evening, ma.
I think quite a number of people are still on the road, but we'll start all the same. So we start in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. So can somebody give me a recap, under 2 minutes, recap of what we did on Saturday? In fact, 2 people. How many are we in the class? We're just 3. Okay. So I'll start with Adebo Ali. A recap of what we did on Saturday, the topics we covered on Saturday. 2 minutes.
Good evening, ma'am. Treated online, selling online presence, and we looked at
Okay, I don't know if others can hear you, but the line is a bit faint.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's much better. Thank you.
We looked at selling online presence, building online presence, and we talked on what is web web what is web? I think I can't recall it. What's the definition of website also? And then we looked at how. So sorry, I didn't jot most of the things we discussed. But then we looked at how we can sell marketing. Sorry, my can you, I'm trying to recall.
Right. I can't hear you again. Oh.
Okay. All right, ma, can you hear me, ma?
Yes, you raise your voice. That when you're speaking, it goes very low again.
We looked at marketing, digital marketing, and we discussed what was digital marketing. Then we covered, we explained on what digital marketing was. It's a process by which we project our businesses on various social platforms. We also looked at market how we can project our business online. Is it selling online or building, how to build a website? And then we discussed on, first of all discussed on what was web. We gave definition of what word web means, and then we also looked at how we can create a website. Yeah, there are various platforms whereby we can create our own website, which will make it more easier. We talked on Shopify. We talked on vendors, some other vendors like GetDaddy. We also looked on steps by which we can, create this website that can help project our businesses. And why do we need websites? We also looked at the reason why we need to create our own website, reasons for small scale businesses to project, to have his own website. We talked on the need for it. So for it to.
Okay, you can wrap up your thoughts. You spend more than 2 minutes so that another person can take it from there. When I say I don't necessarily mean you give it back to me the way I gave you. The essence is to ensure that we are all on the same page, so that if there's a gap, if I need to take something before we move to the next topic, that will be an opportunity when I see that we still have some gaps in the learning. So, but fine, you've stated quite a lot, I think, from the beginning towards the end. So well done. Oluyemi, please. You can mute. Then
All right.
Oluyemi unmute and speak.
Okay. On Saturday, we were taught how to enhance our online presence by building a website. We were given a definition of what a website is, which is a group of web pages put together by the same company for people to be able to see their products and services online. Mm-hmm. Then we also looked at how to have a website that for a startup, we can start with a one-pager that will just have a landing page. And as the business grows, then we can move to a full website. And that using only social media has its advantages. But when we now graduate to having a website, it's taking it a notch further, because the two will complement each other. And then there are platforms where one can get a free web page, usually maybe just a page. And there are also the option of having your own website, whereby there will be no limit to what you can display. So that is basically what we looked at. We look at the components of website, having a domain name, building your pages, using web development softwares and app like WordPress and the like. Thank you. Hello.
I can hear you. Continue. Just you can wrap it up now. So we'll start at 6:20.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. With the response from you and Adebowale, it is obvious that for those of us that were in class on Saturday, you got value for your time in class. And I appreciate the fact also that at least more than 50% of us are done with our tax 2. I hope that we are able to finish tax 3 and 4 by weekend, so that by Monday, when we are getting towards wrapping up this training, you will now face your plan. So it's easier this way, and I'm glad quite a number of people took the advice on board and implemented it. But please don't relent. Don't let the accolade get to you. The only thing you need is your certificates by next weekend when we are done. And if you're able to do your part by then, I promise you that even if it's midnight, you finish and you tell me, I'll make sure I go through your work to appraise them so that your certificates, your digital certificates is processed and out as soon as possible for us to celebrate with one another. So tonight's class will be taking on the topic on selling online. Okay. We've done quite extensively on online presence, taking our business online. So what now? You've taken your business online. How do you now sell online? It's a different thing. So let me use an example that will resonate with all of us. You rent a shop. Renting a shop, setting up your shop, filling it up with goods and services is now different from you marketing that store for you to be able to sell. It is the same way with online business. The only difference is one is physical, the other is virtual. But I've told us in this class, if you are able to paint an imagination, make it as if you're seeing it, it is easier for you. So you don't take it for granted and say, okay, it's just website now. I'll just tell people, just go to my website if you want to buy something. There are a lot of things that are going to be successful online business. So we've talked about website. Now we are talking about e-commerce. An e-commerce store is a virtual store where buyers and sellers meet to exchange goods and services online. The first thing we are talking about this night is the e-commerce store, the e-commerce. And I just gave you a brief definition. Okay, before we actually go on, let me just tell you the objective of this lesson, today's lesson. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand the basics of online selling, the difference between marketplaces and business-owned e-commerce sites, and the key strategies for converting visitors to customers. Again, because we're going to talk about marketplaces and we're going to talk about e-commerce sites. So my sole objective this evening is to ensure that by the end of this evening, you understand the basics of online selling, the difference between marketplaces and business-owned e-commerce sites, and the key strategies for converting visitors into customers. Remember, I told you that you can build a website. I mentioned it on Saturday. And you can also go to other places where there's an online and you rent a space there by paying a subscription for that. So before I go on, has anybody ever bought anything online? Let me see your hands up if you've ever bought anything online. Nobody? Okay, Adana says yes. Peace says, I buy things every day online. Fantastic, my kind of customer. Who else? Izu said yes. Sharon says yes. Okay, Adana, can you share your experience with us, your experience buying online?
Good evening, ma. Good evening, everyone. Ma, sorry, my
I
voice
can't
is a
hear
bit
you,
down.
please.
I'm quite strong. I'm
Sorry?
trying to let you know that I'm quite strong, so my
Oh,
voice will be a
sorry
little
about that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, Peace,
I
can you share your experience with us?
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Okay, I have had quite a couple of experiences buying online and also customer relationship online, and I will say I will vote my experience as my positive experience as 60, then my negative experience as 80. Most times a lot of businesses online portray what is not what they are giving to you as a customer, like
Okay.
what I ordered versus what I got.
Versus what you got. Okay,
Yes,
sorry about
and
that.
okay, I have fallen short of that through Jumia, and ever since then I have stopped making any purchase through them. And other online vendors have actually bought things from that I buy from their website. I think I have gotten value for my money. At
Okay.
least what I pay for is what I get at the end of the day. But there are some certain things to me I still wouldn't get online because of most vendors are not trustworthy, especially the ones that have big name, the big brands. They feel even if you call them out, most people won't take you serious because they're
Nothing will
already big.
happen.
Yes. But the ones who are trying to build a reputation are still consistent and are still loyal. But it gets to a point whereby if they get that customer base, they begin to sound rude and not actually looking at where they were coming from before getting to where they are. And some actually have a good, nice customer experience. Like most times, I don't even have to communicate directly to the seller, especially since they have a platform you can pay directly from your bank. And after payment, it takes you to another page where you have to input your delivery details. And from there, you see how much your delivery costs. At the end of the day, you're either paying the total fee together with the item, or you can either click on pay on delivery or pay before delivery. So I've gotten quite an experience as someone that is also an entrepreneur who sells things online. I actually patronize these services to also get some knowledge and also get some tips that I can apply to my business. That is why most times I actually buy things online to see how the online shopping experience looks like. And at the end of the day, I try to see how I can take some of the ideas and implement it into my business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing your experience. And your experience has even, covered my subsequent questions on what informed your decision to buy. So like I said earlier, I said e-commerce is a virtual store where buyers and sellers exchange goods and services online. Remember on Saturday, I mentioned that you can be a solo entrepreneur and still have a store online. Not necessarily that you are selling physical products before you have your store online. So it's a virtual store where buyers and sellers exchange goods and services online. Okay, now I'm going to ask a flip question. How many of you have sold something online before? Okay, Peace has. Okay, who else? Alice. All right, Alice, can you share your experience selling? Then Peace will go second and Sharon third. 1 minute each. Please look at the time when you start so that you will know when to stop. All right. Okay, so I'll take 4 of us now. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so where I am currently is kind of noisy, but I'll try to be as loud as possible.
All
so
right.
I had a store rather on Jumia where I sold fragrances generally, perfume, diffuser, and all of that. About my customers, there were some, because they were supposed to pay before the items are delivered, and some others will insist that they want to get the items first before they make payment. So Jumia made that open
Option
for them, and I had no control over that. And so there was this particular one that I had a very bitter experience with. The person ordered a particular item and I couldn't get it delivered like as at when due. Not that I didn't have the item at hand, but I mean, because of that, so the person had to cancel. And the person canceling meant that I was to pay charges. Will I call it charges now? It was more like yes, penalty. It was more like a punishment, because
Yes,
you
it's
couldn't get this
penalty.
item to this person at this stipulated time. So
Yes.
that cost me a lot. And I had some other customers who came back, after maybe first purchase, getting their deliveries promptly. Some came back over and over. Then at some point, I had to close down the store because it was more like Jumia was ripping me off with the charges, their percentage, and all of that. That's why I had to close up the store, and then I stood on my own.
Okay.
But so far, so good. It's been a wonderful experience. I haven't had any customer per se that was problematic. And on my own part, I try to deliver on time. I list what I have. So it is not a case of I made a payment and the person was not getting their delivery. Do you understand what I'm saying, ma?
I get you.
Yes. So that's my experience today so far.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you for sharing your experience. Who is next? Let me see. I think I called name before.
Yeah, good evening,
Adana.
Good evening once again.
Or is it Peace? Okay.
Yes, ma.
Yeah, all right, please share your experience with us.
I've sold quite a number of items online. Like when I ran an ad on Facebook, when I started my online business, when I ran an ad on Facebook, I actually had customers who patronized me through the ad and actually ordered food from me. And at a long run, the customer became a consistent customer, and before you knew it, it became friends and customer at the same time. Then I've also sold some of my used items to online, like a Facebook Marketplace. I've made a lot of sales there, and the experience generally has it's been a good one. For the Facebook Marketplace, it's a good one because I didn't have to pay any money to sell my goods. I just posted it and set my location. So it directed to people within my location. So it was easier for me to sell out. While the other one, I had to pay money to run ads to showcase my business out there. And at the end of the day, I think I got value for the ads I actually did at the end of the day. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, Peace. Who is the third person? Then we can, I think I said 3 people. 3 or 4. Yeah, okay. Sharon, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, my own experience, I don't really have much experience because what I sold on Gigi was actually
Okay.
an iPhone. Yes, was
Okay.
an iPhone. I put my number there with the specification of the phone, and the guy that bought it just picked my number from there, called me. So we didn't really do much on the app. We were
Okay.
just conversing, talking with others on phone, and he came to pick up. So that was that.
Okay.
It was
Thank you
very
for
smooth.
sharing. Yeah, thank you for sharing. An experience is an experience. At least you were able to, you know that you uploaded something online and somebody contacted you. Who is the last person?
Yes.
I think it's 4 I mentioned. Who is the last person? Okay, so I move on. The reason why I ask this is for me to be able to gauge if we've had an experience with regards to that. And because the essence of this training is for you to have this knowledge. There are some situations where you were like, oh, how I wish I have all this knowledge before I took a decision to say, this is the route I'll go through. Especially for my sister who sold on Jumia. I have sold, in fact, I would say I'm one of the first set of entrepreneurs who started selling online when tech companies became a bit popular. In Lagos then, there was Deal Day. GT Bank had, I've forgotten the name they call it them before they rebranded to Abari, and some other organizations like that, right? And we've had the experience. We just jumped on it. It's not like, oh, we had critical thinking, like we took an informed decision. It was not an informed decision. And that is what happens, whereby you just, yo, I want my business to be online. I want people to say, I'm selling online. You can, I have a store on Jumia. But the back end, the charges, the penalties, the struggles, if you know beforehand, you'll be able to weigh all your options and take an informed decision. That is the essence of this WIDB training. This came lucky for the people who are just coming on board, right? But some of us have gone through that experience. While we've had some sweet testimony, we've had a not so good experience also. Now, we mentioned that we can sell on social media platform. So I'll talk about social media sales before I move on. Social media sales can be used for marketing, right? But it was not originally designed for selling. Remember when Facebook started? I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with the story of how Facebook started. It was just an idea by a college student. Deborah, don't ban. It's just an idea by a college student looking for a way to link up with his colleagues, the community, the social community, without stepping out of their room. It was a social network. However, it has now graduated to where you can sell products and services. But because the foundation of most of these social platforms were not for a marketplace, they all have their own limitations, right? And some of the limitations are there is no integrated payment for payment or shipping. Unlike, for example, Jumia Ponga, that has integrated system for payment and shipping. most of the social media platforms. You can get customers on Instagram, you can get customers on Twitter, but you cannot get them to pay on that platform. That is one of the limitations, okay? So, well, when we talk about limitations, you know, as believers, we always say, whenever there is a challenge, it should be a challenge for us to provide solution to it, especially when it is human-induced challenge. Now, maybe the solution could be you use a product catalog. For example, your WhatsApp is also, you can be used for social media sales, and they cannot pay on the platform. But you have WhatsApp for Business, whereby you can create product catalog. You upload high quality pictures and engaging descriptions, right? So that people are able to see, and then they can chat you up and pay for it. Okay. Now, we all know that marketplace, an example of marketplace is Jumia that you've mentioned. Jumia is a marketplace. Bumper is a marketplace. That was why I didn't go with that example some days back when it was cited as an example. Bumper is more of a marketplace than an e-commerce website platform whereby you can build your own platform. Okay, so Jumia, Konga, Etsy, Amazon, they are all marketplace. If you want to go with that option, it is easier to start. But you don't own the platform. You can rent a space. You can apply and say, I sell XYZ. They do their due diligence. They give you space. Again, I want your imagination to be open and relate it as if you are renting a physical shop. That's why I keep saying rent a space so that we understand. So it is easier to start. Very simple. Apply. If your documents are complete, you meet their requirements, they give you a shop. But one thing is you don't own the space. Unlike business websites that we discussed on Saturday, we cited the example of Shopify, WooCommerce, Wix, GoDaddy, and Co. There, you own everything, but you handle your payments and shipping. On the marketplace, Jumia, Konga, you don't handle your shipping, except in some occasions. For example, Jumia was in Abuja, was at a program at the State House that I attended. They invited the CEO, and the CEO was on a panel. And the CEO was able, when he was answering questions, and he said, he was saying, da, 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 and everyone was like, okay, so what about the entrepreneurs in Abuja? He said they don't have it in Abuja. And the room was like, so why are you here? Your service is limited to Lagos. You are not onboarding vendors from Abuja, so why are you coming to talk to us? So most of these platforms, because they own it, they set their own rules. I have sold on Jumia, I've sold on Konga. At the time, there was a time in between 2010 and 15 or 16, at a point in time, every year, I'm on a minimum of like 5 websites for my brands. So I understand where you're coming from when you talked about the downside of those things. I have experienced it. And I've also experienced owning my own website. So much so that if there is money, you have the funds. As a consultant, my advice will be own your own platform. Because when you're on those other platforms, they dictate to you how you do things. And in order to enforce discipline, you are disciplined when you don't meet up with their own rules or their regulations. Okay, so if you are asked the difference between marketplace and the ones we discussed on Saturday, while on the marketplace, you don't own anything. You go with their rules. They charge you a certain percentage, which is one of the things you will be able to know by the end of this training. You'll be able to weigh your options and do your calculation. They didn't say 2.5%, and you think 2.5% is minimum or small. It is when you do your calculation and know that your profit after everything maybe it's even 2%. From that 2%, they've already taken 2.5%, which might not be anything for you to take home. But when you're on those Shopify, WooCommerce and all that, you upload your products, you handle the back end, you have, you own the contact details of your customers. You handle your payment. You handle shipping. Okay. So before we move on to the next topic, right, still on selling online. Tonight, we are focusing on selling online. And like I said, it's for you to have a basic of all these options so that you can take an informed decision. If I'm to ask one or two people now, I'll ask two different people who have not spoken before in this class. Which option do you think is better for you, for your business, and why? Selling on a marketplace or owning your own website? You give me the reason why you're going for that option. If you have not spoken this night, Izu, and Messi, please.
Hey, good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Okay, I would prefer for startup. It's better an individual sell in a marketplace rather than owning their own sales place. Like for instance, like most people will leverage first on Jumia. By the time they started having their own personal customers, that's when they'll now have to maybe move to their own website. But when you want to start with your own website, it would incur more costs in doing advertisements, making people know about your brand. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much for that contribution. Messi.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. For me, I would stick to what you said earlier because I wanted to say I would own my own place and not sell on the marketplace. But with what you said earlier, I see reasons with what you're saying. Because if you sell in the marketplace, it will give you more, it will enlighten you more about this side. So it will give you, you would see it in different lights. What am I trying to say? If you own your own website, you would not know what it takes, what those people have experienced, the costing, how much they collect from you before coming to your own website. But when you go to the marketplace, the percentage you are collecting, once you do your calculation, it will make you have an insight about what that place is all about, how they manage the place. So it will give you a better knowledge of how you want to do your own website now and how you have to manage it. I don't know if I'm making sense, Max.
Okay. Thank you so much, Messi. Thank you, Zu, for that contribution. At the end of the day, the decision is always yours. You know your business. You know the what. You know your pockets. You will know whether you can afford it or you have enough traffic to push to your website. Or jejely, let me stay on Jumia and keep advertising and let people know that we are on Jumia. Pay for paid adverts on Jumia or Konga or Amazon. I hope we know that we can sell on Amazon despite the fact that we're in Nigeria, right? Is a whole different course on its own. It can't be in this training. However, I need you to have that possibility at the back of your mind. It just takes putting some processes in place and you start earning in foreign currency. But it takes a whole lot because now you are going outside your comfort zone. You will need to ship, which is the same thing for those of us in Abuja here, which was the reason why we're angry, like, oh, so we will now have to ship our products from Abuja here to Lagos so that we can sell on your platform. I remember there was a business that came from, I've forgotten their name, from Kenya. They met with my team, and I was one of the first set of vendors onboarded in Abuja. They came from, Kenya, to start the business in Nigeria here. And they were like, they came with all the experience, they've experienced it. Nigeria is even more advanced when it comes to online selling and all that. Oh, yours truly, after a year, it was a loss. And after a year, they were able to get, you know, when they say tech companies will go and get venture, they get funding and all that, seed capital and all that, they got, you would think that as they are getting higher and higher, they are going to improve on their services. It was not. At the end of the day, they shut down. And because they know Nigerians are emotional people, they were able to tell you that Nigeria is not a place where business can really function, which is a lie, because a lot of us were vendors at on their platform, and we know that our eyes start shaking. When we're now shutting up, they made us send our products to Lagos and all that. I used to have the Haria Glamesty. I had some cleaning products, beauty products, and some cleaning products. By the time they returned our car wash detergent to us, all the products were broken. All the food product Nectar Nations Garden, we had to dispose all of them, from the detergents and everything. In fact, before sending it, they offered to pay 20,000 naira. So at the end of the day, I lost over 500,000 believing on a brand that one says, oh, the brand came with an experience. And we solved the logistics of me being in Abuja, we, the vendors in Abuja, being in Abuja, and meeting needs in other states. Because they said they've put structures in those places. And it was nada. Sponsored ad, Facebook ad, this ad, and you know, the ad to target customers outside Abuja, which I would have just focused on my solo market here and let people from Lagos order from Lagos, and we make individual arrangements to send it to Lagos. So we have walked the walk. And from experience, I'll be able to guide in this class to say, this is how you go. If you're coming up with your plans and you share it with me, I can tell you that we can start here. But we can always grow to where we can own our own website, which is the ultimate goal, because it shows scaling. So you don't have to start from the very top, but you can start from the base and climb to the top. By the time you have the traffic, nobody will teach you before you invest that money, no matter how expensive, on your website. Okay, so now we're going to talk about sales funnel. Is this still all about selling online? Sales funnel. Has anybody heard about the word sales funnel before?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Who else has not? You can put it in the chat box if you've not. So before we move to sales funnel, let me just quickly give us, okay, I think I've mentioned it. I remember I mentioned that you create a product catalog, right? Create product catalog, post pictures, high quality pictures, resolution. Don't just go and do anyhow pictures. I've told us some days back that invest in getting a photographer to take your product pictures and post pictures online. That is for you that you are just starting now. Selling on social media, selling on your WhatsApp, selling on Facebook Marketplace. It is not a problem. It is where you are that you start from. So the social media, you don't need to, there's no need for you to integrate payment, because you cannot even integrate payment details or payment options and all that, but you can put it in your terms and conditions while you are posting those pictures. So please, it's very important. I always tell everybody in my class and my mentees, always important when you are posting, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, put your terms and conditions on each post. Don't say I have posted it before. They should have seen it. If you like, post 10 times a day. On those 10 products you are posting in a day, please put your terms and conditions. Just copy and paste, because it's stagnant, it's not changing. Except if you are running a promo, so it's not changing. So if it's changing, you can edit, but you put it somewhere as you're making the post, you put the product description, the price, the contact details, and you put your terms and conditions. Are they paying before delivery? Can they pick up after, can they pay on delivery? All those times, if you are not accepting, it is you are the one working the work. So your own terms should be your own terms, what is suitable for you and your business, for your business success. So you put it there. Is it something that will take time? For those of you in the food industry, how long will it take for you to prepare the jollof rice and deliver? Do they have to place order 48 hours or 24 hours before that particular point in time? So all that has to be stated there. Nobody is calling you to confirm. Nobody is sending you message to confirm. I dislike it. And for customers like me, because your terms are not clear, I might just move on to the person that has a clear terms. I don't have a problem with you having terms and conditions. At least let me make an informed decision so that I don't enter. And a lot of people do it and it's dishonest. And as Christians, as believers, we are not supposed to be found in that same boat. They will advertise, they will not tell you, you will not pay finish. They will not tell you that, madam, we only do delivery on Wednesdays and you place your order on Thursday. And you place your order because you believe that you'll get that item and use it that weekend. So what's going to happen? No refund. We wrote it in our bio. Check our bio, no refund. That is 419. Obtaining by false pretense. If I have time for anybody, I will make sure that the person never does it to another person. There are some days one will not just have the time, just move on. But there are some days, like you guys are mostly in Lagos. I'm from Lagos, so I will tell you, I say, if the Lagos won't enter me, I will make sure that I get this to a logical conclusion. So as believers, please let us make our terms and conditions clear. People are not all entering a contract with you blindly. And please, under the Nigerian Consumer Protection Law, there's nothing like no refund. There's nothing like no refund. So don't copy and paste. Those people they are working in ignorance. And the day they will jam somebody that will deal with them, it can just bring down their brands. There's this trending story of, before I go to the sales funnel, let me quickly share with us, because we need to learn from other people's mistakes and work and be intentional not to go through that part. There's this common, these popular twins. They are look-alike. I've seen their post on TikTok. It just comes up on my FYP because I've looked for hair before in the past. So the algorithm just assumed that you are looking for hair. When I see their videos, it is irritating because tell me why, because you guys are twins, you are talking and you are talking at the same time. Just to give us the impression that twins can complete the sentence of the other person. It is just so irritating but that's not the problem. So it's entertaining, you just be watching like, are these people okay? Someone is talking, the person is completing the sentence of the other one, or they are talking at the same time. But if that's just the only thing, we can say it's fascinating, right? And make you wish to want to have twins, especially identical twins. However, they have an identical bad behavior. And this behavior is they can insult. There's nobody they cannot insult. There is nobody. They insult their customers in advertising. They're insulting in talking about their imaginary competitors. They're insulting. So I didn't know what happened. I just know that I bumped on their video. They're apologizing. But it was also irritating, like they're talking, we are sorry. We could have imagined the way I'm talking and it's two persons talking the same thing I'm saying. And I'm in my head, like I've never seen these people sober. But I just zoomed off. I didn't even hear the end of the apology because I just moved on. Only for me to see a video yesterday analyzing what transpired. They carried their madness. What they do is they are nice to you when you are making inquiries. And the moment you pay, they will now become your oga. So they did it to this person, and the person was now like, after paying, I said, okay, so I want to know when you want to deliver. They didn't answer. I think they didn't answer like for like 2 days. The person now threatening to call them out that when I was talking to you, you guys were answering me almost immediately. What is happening? You've gone to, and they said they did a video about the lady, calling out the lady's name and saying, who do you think you are? How many vendors do you think work on Sunday? How much is your money? You know, bottom line short, the person had their time, gave it back to them because the person was bold enough. Other people always avoid their insult and just keep quiet. People now developed that boldness and that came out. People they attended school with came out and say, that's how they were in the school. Oh, that's how they call them the clinical monster twins, blah, 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 bottom line. What I'm saying is what it took them years to build up. Any page they open now, people so mean them that they pull it down. People, they have maintained the energy of ensuring they report their page. People have gone to look for their house. You know, they've insulting, they've claimed that they live in a mansion. People have gone to look for their address, done video in front of their house to show that they live somewhere where anyway, they are not a representation of what they carried online. What I'm saying in essence is this. We need to set apart from people like this who are toxic and who are not straightforward. Your customer is your king. Do customers make mistakes? Yes. Do customers frustrate people? Yes, because the customer at the end of the day is human. But you have to work on it to know that it is because of these people you are in business and you are praying, except if what the customer is asking you to do is ethically wrong, morally wrong, or is against your faith and all that. But even in conveying to the person that, I'm sorry, we are not able to do this, you have to be polite so that when they decide that they want to call you out, people will read the DM and say, Abba, now, this person was nice. So let us acquaint ourselves with what obtains on the terms, the legal terms of buying and selling online before you start setting up your own terms and conditions, so that you don't err in judgment, you don't make mistakes, you don't set up illegality, because whatever you like it or not, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is overall, is supreme, is final. So you cannot set a law that is contrary to what is in the law, in the Constitution. And because the Consumer Protection is now a commission, the law has, it has gone, it's not an act, it is now a law. It simply means it has been in the Constitution. So you cannot be telling somebody that, oh, they can't do, you can't refund. However, you can post it there, the reason, the exceptions. If you are selling underwears, for example, intimate products, I don't expect you to take it back. But the customer needs to be aware that if you buy this thing, you cannot return it. If you are selling cooked food, you need to set it there that you don't take a return and explain to the customer why, not because it is your law. Cooked food, what if the food has been poisoned? What the food has been contaminated in the process of handling? You don't even know how the person handled it before the person returned it and all that. So in those instances, you have to make your terms and conditions clear. I hope we are clear on that. Is there any question before I move to sales funnel? All right, thank you. So sales funnel. The whole objective of sales funnel is to turn visitors into buyer. Is to turn visitors into buyer. So you have different stages in sales funnel. For those in Lagos, and even the people in what they call it, in Ibadan, they can relate. I'm trying to, it's like you going to Aleshinloye market, or you go to Yaba market, whereby, I don't know if they are still by that railway, the railway side, where they will be calling you, Auntie, come and buy your jeans here. Auntie, come and buy your jeans here. Fine sister and all that. I think I skipped on something. hold on. Oh, okay, I skipped on something. I don't know why sales funnel is making me rush to that part. So I need to tell you, and please take note of it and write it down. Elements of a virtual store. You know, we've agreed that when you are just starting out, a marketplace is usually an easier option for you, okay? Now, for you to understand the marketplace, what do you need? You need your catalog. I mentioned product catalog before, but I didn't give it in details. A product or service catalog, because even as a service provider, you can put the option. The person who owns a car wash, for example, can put the option on your WhatsApp catalog and put the picture of maybe a Jeep. You describe the service you are going to do in washing the Jeep. If it's just the body, the price. If it's body and inside out, is price. If it's deep cleaning, the price. You can put the size of Corolla to determine the car and put the description. So catalog is not limited to products, vendors with products, physical products. So in setting up a catalog for your goods or services, it usually involves the task of logically breaking up the offer, like I just explained now, of all the goods and services to be traded into categories, subcategories, types. If you are an exporter and you bring things in, those who buy from China now, you can put the country of manufacturing, maybe China products. This is Bangladesh, which is another trading country where people buy from. So catalog is a straightforward way of you organizing your offer for your customer. For, let's say for textile, for example, you can organize it by size, by color, by shape, by model, by brand. For the service provider, the category of the service, even if it's catering services for food, you can say for wedding of 250 people, this is the price, and this is what you charge per plate. If you are using luxury plating, this is what you use. If you are using regular plating, this is how much you pay. So it enables you to be able to organize your offer, and the customers will see it at once and understand your offering. Same thing with service, same thing with product, and same thing for you. It makes it easier. It's straight to the point. And it also makes it very quick and easy for your customers to identify what they want to buy from you. There's no beating about bush. Imagine you have a catalog versus not having a catalog, and I have to be asking you, do you have it in which color? Do you have it in black? No. Do you have it in yellow? No. Do you have it in red? No. I would have asked you like 5 questions, and I say, which color do you now have? You now answer me. Something that is straightforward. Okay. What sizes do you have? You tell me, oh, you don't have size 2. What about size 5? So when you have adding photos to each items of the catalog, in modern virtual stores, there is typically an interface where the owner can either upload a series of images, front, back, top, zoomed, and all that, you know, and provide captions for each of the photo, such as those used for visually impaired shoppers, search engines, and etc. This one, a lot of people are not doing it in Nigeria. When you're uploading, you need to think of all your customers, and visually impaired shoppers are also part of it. There is a feature of this on Instagram, and I know quite a lot of people don't know it. You go to advanced setting and you can put on this for visually impaired shoppers, whereby they hear it, it reads to them. And if you put nice description, the AI will be able to read it to the visually impaired shopper, that they will understand what they are talking about. So you put the title, you put the short but specific description of each of the item. Okay, this will also help you when you are doing SEO search. That's search engine. When somebody puts it on Google, for example, if you use the correct description, the correct title, you'll be able to, your store will be able to come up when people are searching for the product. When you have it on your own website, it gives you, or a marketplace, it gives you the option to either do the short or long description of that product or service. you have the stock number. Okay, you put the stock number. Each business needs to know where a particular product is in the storage facility and how to find it. For the people who have sold on Gigi's, for the people who have sold on Jumia or Konga, I'm sure you have seen something like this at the back end. It even helps you to be able to track. Say, for example, you have 20 of this. Just put the description under 20 so that when they are buying, they ask you for the quantity. You put the quantity too. It keeps reducing. And you'll be able to know. It's, in fact, some websites like Shopify, where I've used before, Wix, I've used Wix also. It will give you the reorder level so that you get a prompt. When, say, for example, you put 10, it gives you a prompt that, they've bought this thing, and you've gotten to your reorder level. You need to start producing to add to it, okay? And some also websites have barcodes or QR codes that people can scan. This is for ease of being able to, either from your own end, to be able to track the products, especially in your own inventory. I've spoken a lot about terms and conditions. So that's rules of selling. So whatever you want to put. If you are giving them discount, put. If there's rebate, if there's wholesale price, if there's bulk buying price or option, put it. Volume-based discount, put. Apply all the things that you need to that will make it easy. Help automate and facilitate a trade. So those are the ones I didn't mention before I moved on. So now you have shopping chart, you have your catalog, you have your photos, you have titles and description, you have your stock numbers, you have your rules of sellings or terms and conditions. Okay, so those are the ones I skipped, and I hope you are able to get it. So for sales funnel is one of the e-commerce strategy. Sales funnel is an e-commerce strategy. Is a strategy that we have used from time immemorial, and that was why I painted the picture of Yaba. The women in the house can relate to that scenario, and I'm sure they don't do it not only in Yaba. If you go to Idumota, if you go to Trade Fair, if you go to Oshodi, you will experience all that. The bottom line, the main objective of sales funnel is for you to be able to convert your visitors into clients. Now we are going deep into the sales funnel. So the sales funnel, I want you to draw something. Draw a triangle, but draw it inverted. That is upside down. Draw a triangle and draw it upside down. Have we done that? Please put it in the chat box if you've done that. Don't draw it small. Do you know funnel? We all know funnel that we used for our liquid content. Yes, so draw it like a funnel, but upside down. So you do it right like this down. So it's also in form of a triangle. Yes, so draw. How many people have drawn that? Draw it big because you're going to, each layers, we are going to be talking about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more people, then we move on. We're still waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, one more person. Done. Okay, right, good. Thank you. So your sales funnel is exactly what the name implies, a funnel. And then you've drawn the funnel. So at the top of the funnel, where that wide mouth is, where you pour your liquid, either your liquid soap, either water, either fuel, either your vegetable or your palm oil. That top is the same scenario where those men are saying, Auntie, come and buy your gin, your tight gin, your tight gin, your tight gin. You are creating awareness at that top. People are passing in front of your shop. Again, I'm using the physical shop as an example. So because I need to paint that picture for you, for your imagination to be able to understand it clearly. At that point where the man stood in front of his shop or on the road trying to drag customer into the store, That is the top of the mouth of the funnel. That is him creating awareness, making people know your business exists. So even when you are posting it on your WhatsApp status, you are giving yourself shout out, you are doing videos, it is still on that awareness phase at the top there. Come and buy yo, and all that. I don't know how to say it in Igbo, but auntie, come and buy. I'm trying to remember those names they call us those days so you can use your social media, use your status, use your trade fair, do sponsored ads. That face is awareness at the top of your funnel. Even when you make videos, for example, you are into skincare and you make a post showing a before and after skin transformation of somebody using your products, it is still awareness. Okay? That is awareness. The next stage, so you've written awareness, draw the line, because you're going to draw the line in 5. The next phase is interest. So when you've dragged that auntie, and the auntie is now showing interest in your product, auntie has refused, as brother Obina is holding a sister Wanyocha's hand. Wanyocha is standing there looking, you sure say you get my size? That is interest. If you sponsored ad and somebody says, hello, can I know more about this product? That is interest. If you post it on your WhatsApp status and somebody says, lovely, can you tell me more about this? That is interest. That is the second level. Your prospects are now interested in your service or product. At that stage, you need to now be able to convert their interest into a situation whereby they are making a decision. But I will still explain deeper on each of the phases. So the next step, the line you will draw that follows awareness, interest, the next step is decision. Can you see that the funnel is narrowing down? Take it towards the last part, not the last. Don't let it get to that tiny mouth, okay? Take it to where the smallest round hole is, decision. And the fourth phase is what? Is action. Action. So awareness strategy is all those noise making that you are making, whether it's through sponsored ad, whether you are through meeting somebody after church to pitch to them. That's a strategy. And that is when customers buy a product or service, they are typically looking for a solution. You are creating an awareness for that. Okay? So you make market efforts, content, campaigns, and all that. Then interest. So when Wanyocha has shown and entered your shop and is standing there, it is now left for you, the ball is in your court, to be able to convert leads. That's a lead, oh. To be able to convince them why they should buy from you and not from the woman in the next shop. Virtually, it could be through when that person says, hello, can I know more about this? And you now start sending them pictures or email sign up. You're sending them free quotation and say, if you buy 100, I'll give you this. That is interest. All right, now that they've developed interest. Decision is when they're saying, are you sure this thing will not wash? Are you sure when I wash these jeans, it will remain the same? The size will not shrink? For service providers, don't say I left you behind. It is still the same thing. It is the consultation phase. It is the follow through. It is you telling them that, no, your skin is like this. If I offer you spa massage or scrubbing or this kind of Arabian scrubbing, this is what will happen to you. You are now pitching in real time. You are selling in real time. At that point, customer is now saying, okay, can I have your account number? That is where all those awareness, interest has now led to the customer trying to make a decision. The person has brainstormed in their head and now say, okay, I've made a decision. So once your customer makes a decision, they are ready to act. They are ready to become a customer. All this while, they are still prospects. At this point, once they ask you for account number, they are ready to become a customer. You need to seal that deal. Now, what I want you to know, the reason why we have it as a funnel is that you are calling everybody. That's why even when you are doing target ads, sponsored ad, you are in a trade fair, you are shouting, come and buy you. You are calling everybody. It is not that everybody that will enter your shop. So it reduces. When you talk to talking stage, it is not everybody that will get to that talking stage that will have time for you. So let's assume you are shouting in a crowd of 100 people. Then 10 people decide to look your side, show interest in your product or your service, what you are offering, what you have to sell. And when they now show interest, you are now able to talk to them. Some of them will say, oh, I would have loved to buy it, but you don't have it in my favorite color, pink. They left. I would have loved to go, but now I don't think I have the money. They left. You now left with 5 people. 5 people are now thinking, oh, should I not? Then like 3 people left. Out of all the people you now call, 2 of them now ask for account details. So at that point, you need to ensure that you are able to convince them so that they don't change their mind. But in some instances, it's one person that will go ahead and pay. And the other person will say, sorry, auntie, I will have you in mind next time. Next time, I will make sure I buy from you. I don't have enough in my account right now. The action is where you now have that tiny bit that drops into your ocean of savings. So hot leads contacting, demonstration, case studies, free samples, trials, proposals. This is broad, or what you can do to make sure that you click that deal. Give them taste of your jollof rice. That's free samples. If it's a service you are rendering, give them free trials. That is where the word a trial will convince you comes from. I give them free trial and they say, okay, I like it. So can you make XYZ for me? If you're a contractor, that's where you make sure that you send a solid proposal in. Or you go with your product or whatever it is and give them a demo, a demonstration of how this thing works, and you seal it. That is, in a nutshell, what is called sales funnel. And it is important for you to know these principles. The strategy is a strategy in marketing that ends up leading to you selling. You need to know that you need to cast your net wide. And when you attract attention, be able to pitch to them. When they are trying to make a decision, you're able to look at what is missing, give it, and then it clicks when you get your alerts. But in some instances, that is for sales. But in some instances, you close the sales when the customer gets the service or product they've paid for and there's no negative feedback. Hope we understand what sales funnel means now. Is it clear? I need response in the chat box, but if you have question, you can ask me right now so that we can move on. Yes, okay. Let me wait for 3 more yeses, then we'll move. So I need to know that majority, we are all on board. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for being so attentive. And please don't forget, sweeten your offer the moment somebody shows an interest in what you are offering. You don't do like, we are not typical entrepreneurs in the marketplace. We are people who have been called as set apart. So engage them, help them to choose you. That is my conclusion in this. Whatever it takes to help them to choose you. Free samples, testimonial, get people to send you testimonial review, share with them. If you are selling something, if it's something don't make it difficult, okay? Because that's what Nigerian entrepreneurs, especially online, that's what they do. They make you regret. I have been scammed though. On Instagram, I have been scammed. Oh, I don't want to say, but don't let me dwell on those past, because now I think if you scam me now, I just know that, well, it is what it is. Okay, so let me scroll to and go to the next slide. So on this slide, I don't know if we can finish this night, but we'll take it. But take notes if we don't finish this night, so that you have a comprehensive knowledge of building an e-commerce business. Here, you are asking yourself, okay, I think we can finish this. Building an e-commerce business, is it for me? It's a question, no, and we all need to answer that question. For those of us that have done our module 1 and 2, I want to take a breath. I want to take a deep breath. Can two people to share their experience? What stood out from them, especially those that are done with tax 2? Is there anything that stood out from you in the on the self-learning portal? If you have not spoken before. Okay, Alice, 2%. Oh, sorry about that. I get your message. I'm just saying so that others can understand. She said her phone is at 2%. I get you. Who wants to share what they gained in the self-learning mode? Maybe it will encourage any other person that have not done that. Temitayo, you've not spoken today, have you? Have I called you? Temitayo and Folashade. Oh, you really don't know how to use it. Please, I've told you, if you have issues, reach out to me. People are reaching out to me privately, and I'm sure they can testify that I am answering them. And if it's for me to get somebody to pair with you to walk you through, I will do that. Okay, I've trained quite a number of people that I know that if I call on them to assist you and walk you through, they will do that for you, to walk you through. So please, if you have any issues with regards to the training, or especially the self-learning, please let me know. It is easier if you have a laptop to be able to submit your assignment. You download, you work on it and upload it back. Very easy. And if you want me to send you the task and drop it on the platform, yes, it cannot be done using it. I can send you, or I can send all the, I will download, save us data, I will download and send to the group for us to see all the tasks there. Sorry, please, but you have to find a way around it. That is why we are resilient. I called on Temitayo and Folashade. What stood out for you from what the self-learning portal?
Okay, good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Okay, so for that, you said we should speak on module 2, Abi. That's the building an online presence.
Yeah, true.
Okay, for me, staying visible on social media platforms, because that is what I believe I need or I lack at the moment. So with what I studied, it shows that social media is a very, very important tool, like we've learned in the past courses or in the past lessons. So there are 3 essential functions of social media for businesses. That's connection you make, your target audience, and your storefront, or as you call it, marketplace. Now, social media won't just help you sell or promote your business. It also helps you make connections, and profitable connections, I must say, because by the time you are selling, you're interacting with other people, interacting with customers, one way or the other, someone will refer you to someone else. So like that, you keep building connections for your business, and your business, as your business is growing, you personally, like your personal self, you're also growing as a business person. And with that, you are able to build a better business structure, make better corrections for the mistakes you've probably made when you started the business. And with that can also help you. So also targeting, that's meeting your target audience. Like when we started this class, that was always my, when you asked us what we were going to do with marketing, digital marketing, I said marketing. So now target audience is very important. Now this targets, social media also helps you meet the right set of people you want to patronize you, or you want to sell your business to. When you first start, as a new business person, as a fresh entrepreneur, when you're selling on social media, Instagram or whatever site you're using, you at first, I believe you might, except you know the people you want to sell to, but I believe when you first put it out there, you might not be able to reach the right set of people you want to reach it to. But when you keep on doing, you put your standard out there, you are not saying that, oh, because I want to sell, yes, you are not, oh, I want to sell, my clothes are worth 50,000 naira, but because of how the economy is, let me sell it for 20K. The people you are trying to target will not get to you. They won't come to you. The same people of 20K, 10K, that will even price it down to 10K. These are people that will be coming to you. So if you can stay consistent, stay on the level you feel like, okay, this is what I want to stay with. Like we say, stand on your business. Yes, stand on that, and do not like go low or reduce your price or compromise or whatever. Then that is also, one of the essential functions of social media. And also your storefront. Social media also helps you to become a storefront for your business. Like you are the public face for your business. You promote your business. If you have a physical business, that is a physical store, I mean, that is a good thing. But social media itself is a marketplace. So you have the opportunity to sell to whoever, wherever. Basically, yeah. That's what I'll pick.
All right. Yeah, that's nice. Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. So the next person, we're waiting, and we still have some slides to cover. Okay, I'll come to your question. I'll come in.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
I'm not sure if that will be me because my network keeps going off and on.
Okay.
Yes, so I have completed task 1 finally. I think I had some challenges. I was just going all about the website. I didn't know how to use it, but I figured it out eventually. So I think the high point for me in that module 1 was the persona, the imaginary persona that I had to create. And I think it's a very, very, very important part of business. Like, you know, we all have that thing in our head, but we never take it seriously. But I like the way that the module stressed on it, because I was like, oh, why would I have to imagine the person's interest and all of that? But at the end of the day, that is what the business is about. If you are going to sell, you need to imagine, you need to know who your target audience is, and how you, in short, it's like thinking the way they are going to think. And all of that. So when you have an idea of what they want, how they want it, their lifestyle, and how their lifestyle will suit what you are offering, then it makes a big difference. So the high point for me in that module 1 was that the persona part. And I had fun creating it because I just kept laughing that. So I have to imagine this person and all of that. But I think it was
I told you that you have to, even if it's a mannequin that is in front of you, and give it a name.
Yeah, so it was indeed interesting, and it was worth the while. So that was the high point for me in module 1. Thank you, ma.
All right. Okay, thank you for sharing. Right. It's just to encourage every other person to do the needful and complete, because you can in fact, the 2 persons who spoke right now, I'm happy as they are speaking. It's from a place of, I can feel the gratitude in their voice. That's what I don't know, probably maybe when somebody is happy doing something, I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. And also, you know that the end of it all is going to be useful to you, and you're not grudgingly doing it. It's a thing of joy for us trainers. Thank you so much. Adana, you said you have a question. I don't mind. Please ask your question, then we'll move on.
Okay, ma. Please, this question is related to the module 1. While I was studying it, something came to mind. Something came to my mind, and I just remember the traders in Balogun in Lagos, Idumota, and in Lagos, people that sell in the market.
Yes.
And a lot of them don't have social media, as in they're not digital yet. And somehow, I don't know, like I know a few of them now try to come on Instagram and sell. A couple of
Yeah.
them, because everybody is now online. They try to come online and sell, especially Instagram, where I
Yes.
meet a couple of them, even those from trade fair. But there are other ones like the ones that are not too learned or exposed, like the ones that
Yes.
don't even know how to use the digital tools and all of that. Even maybe their children, go, and even if their children want to introduce them to it, is a sort of a big problem for them because it is not what they are used to.
Yes.
So I just wanted to find out, is it them? And somehow they still make money. They
Yes.
make money. They make money in their own way. So, and it got me thinking, like, okay, digitalization is very good, but how about those that don't have idea, as in they don't know how to go about it? Are they losing totally, or because it just got me thinking. It's not like it has anything to do with me, but I just like started thinking about it because I know I have a couple of aunties that sell in Lagos Island, and those ones they don't know anything about Instagram or selling online. So it's to me it's sort of like trying to even help them. Like, okay, so you can actually make it big, but they don't see anything useful there. So I
Okay.
just hope
I get your questions, and when I say it's relatable, trust me, it's relatable. I think I mentioned it in the first class. I hardly forget not to mention it, right? That I come from a long lineage of entrepreneurs, especially clothes merchants, right? And so what you said is what I have people in my family too who are on the island there. I was actually born on the island, who are on the island there. And they try, but the number of working they get is not, they're not interested per se. But some have been lucky to have children. That's where you now have second generation. Yes, I remember that I mentioned it. Some have been lucky to now have children who are interested in their business, but also interested in doing it the way it is done now. Because whether we like it or not, the world has gone digital and there's no going back. There's no going back. It's going to be fantasy if anybody thinks we are going back to pre-COVID. We're not going back to pre-COVID. And that's a generation. It will get to a point, those generation will fade. No matter how backward you think Africa is, it will get to a generation whereby the traditional way of selling will remain something that was part of us, once part of us. And majority will be dealing online. And that is what we are preparing ourselves for. So when you don't have knowledge of something, it does not really hurt you per se. It is when you have the knowledge and say, and I'm missing, that means I could have, even if I'm making 1 million, 5 million, or 10 million in a day, I can be making more than that if I'm online. And I have some people who I know, they are doing so well online and they are doing great offline. They are able to combine together. And they are on the island. They are in Idumota, they are in Kota, they are in Kosoko, they are in all those axes, and they are selling. And there are some people you will look that you will not even think of. Imagine you have people selling herbs and they are online, selling herbs inside Gorodom, and they've given themselves name. Some of them, they communicate in Yoruba language. Go on TikTok, you will see them. So what I'm saying is, it's not like they don't know, but maybe they don't have that privilege of having a child that is educated or exposed or that is knowledgeable in helping to scale their business by taking it online. Or some children, which I also know of, that are not proud of their background, leave their people to wallow in the way they are selling because they don't want people to know that their mothers is selling by the roadside. Only few of them have been bold enough to take their mother's business online, and they have seen a turnaround in it. I hope we don't fall into that category. So if you see any person you can help them. Show them how it is done. You don't even know if it's by helping them that you'll be able to lead them to something greater. Maybe getting closer to God, or knowing God the way we know God and all that. So that's just the unfortunate reality that we'll have a bulk of people who still did not know. If I'm in Lagos, I would have organized something for them in the markets there, but I'm not, and I don't have that luxury of time. I hope God will speak to someone to be able to do it, because that's what the East Africans are using to lead us. They are taking this training to meet people where they are. They are taking it to the markets. They are taking it to the rural areas. They've onboarded farmers who now sell directly online, who now know how to sell online and all that. So, but we don't have that luxury. But if God puts it on your heart, like I said, you can also become trainers. And then maybe when we hold a TOT training, then we can take it off from there and localize this training in each of our environments. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, ma. Thank you, ma.
All right, you're welcome. So let's move on. Now, what we are talking about is you now asking yourself the question. So from last week till date, we've spoken about different levels of selling. Is this really selling this thing? Is it for me? So you just look at the steps and weigh it. Now, if you're selling on a virtual marketplace, you own a store on a virtual marketplace, what do you need to do? I've explained it to us. Choose the platform, create a selling account, select the languages, currency, your shop name that has to be unique. Then the next thing, you customize your shop, upload your products or services, add listings for your product, set up payment details, you set up your shipping details. Also, you have to decide on packaging, because if I'm in Abuja and I'm buying for you from Lagos, the way you will package is different from when you want to send to somebody who is in Egbeda and you are in Alimosho, or you are there in Ayobo. It's quite different. The distance isn't that much. You guys are in the same local government. But if you're sending it to VI, you're sending it to Lekki, you're sending it to Bejuleki, the packaging material you will use will be different, so that the dispatch rider does not, either tamper with it by sitting, packing down on Nozuban by the way, and eating all the chicken from the jollof rice, or taking something out of it. But if you're sending to Abuja, you know that you have to really package it for the road so that it's not damaged, it's not tampered with. If it's something that has to stay fresh, you think of the cooling system, how it has to be cool for that 24 hours journey. Yes, before it used to be like 12 hours, but now it's a 24-hour journey because of the road is bad and the NDLA's stop and search on the road and all that. So you have to think of your both primary and secondary packaging. Then lastly, you implement your marketing strategy. We've talked about the sales funnel, which is a major packaging. Just give me a minute, please. Sorry, thank you. So you think about that. This is where we are making decisions. That's why I'm recapping those points. Okay. Now, if you say, oh, e-commerce on your own website. Now, your own website, you want to go to either you choose Shopify, you choose WooCommerce, you choose Wix, you choose Bumper for the local made in Nigerian platform. So you choose the website building service. Select language, country, currency, and shop name. Customize your site. You can see the steps is not as much as the first one. Customize your site. Set up shipping details and decide on packaging. Choose a payment gateway. Add listings for your products. Implement your marketing strategies. Those are the steps you take on that. But one thing I want you to know, like I've said, if you have the funds, if you have the resources, you can always hire experts to support the process. either support in helping you build your e-commerce, right? But you should be the one to define the strategic objectives. Don't forget, I told you, you don't go and make one tech bro, tech sister that will tell you this is how they do it. It is you telling them that this is my strategic objective. And I want to maintain it. This is my marketing strategy. This is my business model. Don't tell me this is how they do it. This is what I want you to do. So even if they are coming with an idea that is different from yours, it should be from a professional point of view. And you should be convinced that it is for you. So your e-commerce business model needs to be adapted to the product or service that you sell, as well as to your target market. It's because you are selling these things to a customer. And I will keep reiterating, walk in the shoes of your customer. You think like your customer. It is you that should adapt your product to suit your customer, not the other way around. Your target audience, what do they like? Is it pepper chicken? If your target audience are not meant to be, maybe you're into wellness, and you have people who are either diabetic or nursing ulcer, you don't say, my father's sauce has to be your father's sauce. And our father's sauce is spicy, so it has to be spicy. No. What is your own business model? Are you selling healthy? If you're selling healthy, you have to adapt the model, the products, the service you are rendering to suit that market, to suit your target audience. If it's healthy, no preservative. You can't say it's healthy, then you're not using salad cream in their fresh veggie salad. What stops you from making salad dressings from scratch? Do the behind the scenes video, let people see it. So it is not the other way around that customers, we have to now say, hey, that woman, her rice, the pepper, but I don't get option, I go chop them like that. And they land in the hospital. And you say you're selling wellness or healthy eating. So choose the right model for you. Choose the that has to suit your target market, suit your customer. So how do you choose the right model? Like I said, you are building for your customer, you are designing for your customer, you are inventing for your customer. You can't go and read about any invention and somebody is saying they presumed. No, there was a problem and they created a solution. And it is because there was a problem and they know that there are people that they can sell the solution to. That is why they decided to make it that way. Air travel, go and look from the first plane invented to what we currently have. If you have the money, you can fly Qatar or Emirates. You will sleep. You will sleep like in your self-contained. You have your privacy. You don't want to see anybody. You're a celebrity and you can afford it. You will be in your cabin. It wasn't like that years back. So you see, they are adapting to the situation. They know that there are customers, high-valued customers, who can afford to pay for business class. But they want their privacy. They don't want people come walking down the aisle in the plane and they're saying, Mr. Minister, sir, sorry, sir, I am from your state, sir. They don't want to see anybody. Or Dangote. And I say, oh, he's flying commercial. Yes, he's flying commercial. But he has his privacy. And they have their own exits. They don't even have to see you. So that is the air operators thinking of what their customer, and that is where you should put yourself. So in choosing things to keep in mind when choosing an e-commerce platform, because this is the digital business training. Number one is your target market. Are your target market on Jumia or Gigi, or they don't even know what that is? They say, hey, Kilonjebe, what is that? If they're on WhatsApp, don't go and copy people and say, I want to be dancing on TikTok. So your target market, 1. Products or services you offer, 2. If you're selling books and you go on TikTok, you just keep dancing and fooling around. Because that's what they call it peak fooling. But if you're selling books, you go on LinkedIn, you go on X, yes, you can get your potential customers from there. You go on discussion sites, you can get your customers there. Third, user experience and interface. Are they the people that they find it easy to start climbing steps? Like I said, imagine the e-store as a physical store. So you now go on Jumia. Jumia will now show you like 10 people. They are now searching for your own name. As they open your name, your store, it's still showing them that other stores that sell similar thing with the similar price. Do they have the patience? User experience and interface. Are people saying it's easy for them to use? I know people who will never use Gigi because of the reputation Gigi has with people scamming buyers. So what is their experience like? Your customers, do they like those platforms? Or it's very easy for them to just buy on your WhatsApp, Shike now, or buy on your Facebook because they know you, they can see you. Don't forget we are starting out. Then fourth, payment and security. Now you are saying they should go and use Jumia and your product is paid before delivery. Are they sure that if they use their card on Jumia, I am not saying Jumia is not good. I'm just telling you things to keep in mind. So it's just an example. Now, will people be willing to use their card on those platforms? Will people be willing to use their card on Gigi? If you say the number of people that will use their card on Amazon, there will be more than those that will use it on the Nigerian website. Do you know why? They know their data is protected. You know, they also know that they have insurance. If their details is stolen on that website and they can prove it that it was from that site, it was stolen, they get compensated. How many times have you heard on any platform here in Nigeria compensated customer? And it has happened that people will say they bought something on a store and the next day they woke up, another person has used that card to buy stuff on that same store. And the store will tell you, there's no way to prove that you are not the one that used it. And it's not like that in other climes. In fact, if you're in Nigeria and you want to sell on those other platforms, be ready to pay compensation if anything happens through your store. So payment and security is a big consideration. Customer support. Do customer get support, or you yourself from the back end, your store is down? How long does it take them to answer you to say, okay, we are working on it? Do they offer real-time customer support? Scalability, is it scalable? Can you expand or is limiting? Is one size, they're giving you one plot of land. You cannot move from that one plot of land though. Everything you have to do, and you cannot build story building on it. It has to be that concolo size that you've built on it. Is it scalable? So is you using WhatsApp catalog scalable for you? I'll tell you that it's not, but it's a good starting point. Okay, then future growth. Can you expand from there? Can you expand the business and still maintain your presence on that store? All right. So that is that on you making a decision. I'll just touch briefly and we'll close for tonight and take it up from here tomorrow on business models. Okay, e-commerce business models. You need to know them. I'm not going to dwell on them so much. I'll just, then tomorrow I'll do a bit of touching. It's not that much. How many types of business models are there? There are 4 types of business models. There's what we call B2B. There's what we also call B2C. There's what we call C2B, and there's C2C. In B2B, which is business to business, the business is the main client. The products and services are resold at the profit. So for example, those people that will tell you that they deal with wholesalers or only, that's B2B. Or those Coca-Cola depot that you see, they sell to distributors. They will not sell to you if you are coming to buy 1 packet of Coke or 1 crate of Coke if it's bottled. That is B2B, example of B2B. You have B2C, business to customer. Targets individual clients and sales of goods and services are typically final. They are typically final for B2B, business to customer. It is direct. For example, you go to a pharmacy to buy a medication. You are not buying the medication to resell. You are buying the medication to use. That is final. You operate a restaurant. I walk into your restaurant to buy food and I'm eating in, I'm dining in. That is business to customer. And the third one, customer to business. Individual professionals offering their services as contractors. For example, a lawyer that is that has been signed up by a business is an individual. He's offering his service to that business. An architect that has been contracted by a company to come up with designs or building designs, architectural drawings, that's customer to business. Is a solo entrepreneur who is rendering his service as a contractor to business or governments. Then you have the last one, C2C, customer to customer. These are platforms facilitating business transactions between two individuals. Another example of that, you can say the declutter pages that you see online now. They are just the middlemen. They are just in between. You want to discard your laptop or your phone, you contact them. You are still holding your phone. They help you advertise. Customer contacts them. Then you sell. Then they just bring you together to facilitate the transaction. Any question? Is there any question? Hello? No, ma, no question. So we'll bring the class to an end and we'll take it off from here tomorrow. It's not much, it's just to give us what we'll be talking about tomorrow before we move to the next module will just be give more details, what is sold, the main customers, the sales model, marketing strategies, tools to use. Remember, this is to help you decide on what type of business model is best for you to operate with regards to either the product or service you're rendering. So that brings us to the end of this class. We are right on track. And most likely, we might even conclude the training this week. Next week will just be for if there's any need to assist with the plan. That is that. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you. You can unmute now before you leave the class.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you, Folashade.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ma. God bless you.
Thank you, ma.
God bless you. Thank you. All right. Do have a nice night. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing.
Good night, ma.
Good night, everybody. Good night, ma.
Thank you, ma. Good night, ma.